Alright, as usual, his latest and greatest content for new Pokemon Snap repeats the same history his failed channel has suffered for years now. And that is, where the fuck are those views? Even with his highly anticipated for the new Pokemon Snap playthrough of the first game, desperately needs more viewership as well. So what's the next best thing for the grifting and contrarian inferiority complex to do? Well, he hasn't attacked more successful Poketubers as of late. I'm sure that's coming in the near future. Here is a perfect example of a grifter.
New Pokemon Snap proves Pokemon Legends is gonna suck.
There's that narrative, and there's that not so hidden agenda. It sounds like a rerun that goes a little something like this. Revisit the narrative of Pokemon Legends Arceus being a disappointment off of a one trailer. Publicify is just trying to make people not get Pokemon Legends just because he thinks Snap is better. Caleb, you almost have it. What Publicify is doing is invoking one of the three elements of a grifter: narratives, agendas, and contrarianism. He has to stick out like a sore thumb. He has to manufacture shit, and all of this is because this is the only way he can get those views he's desperately scraping for, and any kind of clout for that matter. For all of his absolutely unfounded, uneducated, and "Hi Ma, I'm not well" arguments he's regurgitated about Pokemon Legends Arceus, it's the exact same shit he's arguing that people have argued about Sword and Shield. But what did he do? Forbidden videos, dun dun dun. Here we have him gatekeeping and doing everything he can to defend the Game Freak over Sword and Shield.
Yeah, this is the same guy that said, if you have any kind of problems with Pokemon, you're not a true Pokemon fan.
So he switched up the narrative, because when you're a contrarian, you can never be consistent, sincere, or just make any kind of fucking sense for that matter. You don't have an IQ above room temperature. Remember all of the complaints people had with Sword and Shield? The lack of graphical fidelity, high quality animations.
These are the best looking Pokemon games we have to date.
Then Pokemon Snap comes along and he mentions absolutely nothing that shows that new Pokemon Snap proves anything about Pokemon Legends sucking in any way. How are the two related? Oh, that's right. When you're grifting, you create all kinds of dumb shit that you think will make sense. Lump it all together, and then you create the narratives, and then you make sure you turn against the grain because people love everything, so you got to hate it. Don't ask me how this kid's demented brain works. It's been working like this for 8 years on his failed platform. No wonder it's a failed platform. Complete list of Sword and Shield problems. Reddit post is full of lies. Hashtag Game Freak lied about the hashtag thing he has going on in every single one of his videos, especially these shit posts he loves to stir up drama with. He always makes sure he creates these hashtags just to get extra bits of attention he desperately needs for his dead channel. If they search for anything relative to that by this hashtag, the same goes for new Pokemon Snap, and the same goes for Pokemon. Nothing here makes sense because Publicify doesn't believe a damn thing he has senselessly regurgitated for over 15 minutes. Oh shit, you're just regurgitating your dumb narrative that you made 2 months ago about a game with one trailer and a bit of preliminary information you can look up on it at best being a complete disappointment, and it's going to suck because somehow new Pokemon Snap proves this. An on-rails game about taking pictures of Pokemon somehow proves anything about Pokemon Legends Arceus, or anything for that matter, even though Bandai developed that game and Game Freak is developing Pokemon Legends Arceus. But this is the timeline the contrarian has warped himself into to go against Game Freak. And all of those footage not final arguments hold up, or do they? Because this maniac says whatever dumb shit he can, the joy of being a contrarian.
Go against the grain. You shut up. The footage may not be final, but the graphics did not get bad. Hashtag thank you, Game Freak. You guys are judging a tweet, but the Breath of the Wild tweets, they didn't look so good, even though I'm judging those from E3 footage and not the complete game. But then let me turn around and invent this narrative. Well, at least Breath of the Wild is gonna look better than Pokemon Legends Arceus.
Professional translator destroys Distant Kingdom's lies. Sword and Shield trees look better than Breath of the Wild. The Pokemon Company's unbelievable response to no national decks in Sword and Shield.
BBND is the devil!
BB&D completely fails.
You guys are the enemy. Sword and Shield dominates pre-order sales. Sales equal quality. Joe Merrick wants to quit Cerebi because the BB&D is the enemy. Sylph Spectre is wrong.
Yeah, he was so busy getting clicks off of dehumanizing you. Yes, I'm talking about you, Pokemon community. And all of those arguments, again, they involved graphics. They involved a lot of what Sword and Shield was lacking. And people were ultimately disappointed with Sword and Shield for many reasons. But you guys were just being hateful, toxic, and negative for no reason. Your arguments are completely invalid. But it's okay for him to hate on the game he hasn't played yet and only has heard next to nothing about. But somehow he's valid and wasn't the one blindly ignoring the flaws of a game as well, like he did with Sword and Shield. What a fucking idiot. Projections and all. Yeah, he's totally not a hypocrite, and you're the ones with horrible taste. Because again, he painted the fairy tale that the community was the problem, not Game Freak, not Sword and Shield. They're perfectly same games with no flaws. They have all of the graphical fidelity, high quality animations. The models were made from scratch. Sword and Shield are just perfect games, and all of your arguments that he's making with Pokemon Legends Arceus are completely invalid, and you're the ones that are not the true Pokemon fans. And the community had more than just footage from one trailer and whatever you can scrape the internet for to go off of, making a graphics and functionality argument, saying that there's not that much time for them to improve anything off of the next to nothing you saw. Pretend the exact same thing people said about Game Freak and Sword and Shield that you played contrarian to is somehow invalid, but you're making the same argument. It's clear that this boy only wants you guys to tear each other apart. He just wants to see the Pokemon community burn. He isn't consistent with anything because he's a fraud. He makes the same
"you're not a true Pokemon fan"
uneducated arguments over a game he decides that he wants to hate because the community is anticipating it. They're loving what they're seeing and hearing about Pokemon Legends Arceus so far. So the contrarian and grifting inferiority complex has to always go against the grain because maybe he'll bring up those sub 10k views he gets per shitpost. I mean, the new Pokemon Snap content has been doing exceptionally well, not doing well. And who is this we? There's nothing worse than anyone thought because there's nothing to talk about. It's just a dumb contrarian echo chamber based off of a demented vegetable repeating a whole lot of nothing just so he can stick out. He needs validation. Y'all were idiots, toxic, hateful, negative, not true Pokemon fans because you had all these gripes with Sword and Shield, but then he throws that argument at Pokemon Legends Arceus, but what do we know about it? He looks at the same category and pulls this contrarian gimmick.
Oh, this looks rough, but Breath of the Wild tweave do not look better than Sword and Shield. You see, I proved it here. So I play the gatekeeper against the things that people hate, and then I'm the contrarian otherwise if it's something everybody wants. But I want the community to come together. I love the community. I want everyone to be happy.
If Publicify doesn't believe the dumb shit he says, what makes you think he gives a fuck about anything he says? It just sounds more like a 12-year-old trying to win an argument with himself. He just wants your world to burn because his failed platform has long since been nothing more than a hot and irredeemable mess.